Let's move on now. The Karnataka State Secretariat Vidhan Soudha in Bangalore has passed a sexist order to its employees. The order says female employees are often found loitering in the corridors of the Secretariat, and this obstructs work and they should avoid doing the same or else action will be initiated. The order also talks about other employees loitering during working hours and using mobiles at workplace and talking loudly. However, it doesn't single out women on this point of using mobile phones. Pratibha is now joining us with more details. Pratibha, have any of the women employees complained about the circular and that the circular is insensitive towards women employees?
That's right, Maha, but it wasn't just women. Many of the men too had decided to extend support to this, and the staff had been protesting with respect to this particular circular that was issued, and most of them did claim that this was sexist in nature. In fact, one look at the circular in Kannada, it mentions very clearly that women employees were found loitering around. Only in this particular issue, the women seem to have been singled out. And then the next para goes on to say...
All right, Pratibha, just hold on to your thoughts there. Mr. Prakash from BJP Karnataka is joining us on the phone line. Sir, this is a seriously sexist sort of a circular that has been issued in the Vidhan Soudha, singling out women employees for loitering about in the corridors. How will you all take up this matter, considering that women find it highly objectionable that they should be singled out like this?
No, it is objectionable. The person who has issued the circular has not applied his mind. Neither he knows, he has understood the sensitivity of his circular he has issued. I demand the government should immediately withdraw this circular. Not only the women, even the men loiter around in the corridors of Vidhan Soudha. If there are rules are made, it should be safe for one and all. There should not be any discrimination in it. Certainly, the party will take up with the concerned speaker, will ensure that it is withdrawn.
Also, sir, this circular seems to insinuate that women are not serious workers, and that's why this circular becomes so objectionable. Do you think that this matter also needs to be dealt with sensitively of women's rights at workplaces?
Definitely, I said no, the person who has issued this has not understood the sensitivity of the issue. We should not discriminate between men and women. Everybody works, everybody puts in their efforts. Why only single out women on this? This shows his bias towards women. Certainly, the government should withdraw this circular.
All right, Mr. Prakash, many thanks for speaking with India Today. Let me go back to Pratibha. Pratibha, you were talking about how the male colleagues have also extended support to the women and objected to this sort of a circular. Is there any plan now of revoking the circular and issuing a fresh one?
Well, at this point in time, they haven't really reacted to this, but then the protest is on in the sense that they are continuing to voice their angst against this particular circular, and now that the BJP wants to raise this particular issue, we'll have to wait and see how
All
the
right,
ruling government is
I'll
going
hold
to
you
react.
there again for a bit, because we have with us former IPS officer Kiran Bedi on the phone line. Ma'am, this circular, first of all, your reaction to this, because it singles out the women as those who step out in the corridors, talk loudly on the phones and obstruct work.
This is an inherited mindset of the person who signed it, person who's issued it. It's an inherited mindset of the person who wrote the circular, because that's what he believes, that women are the cause of the problem when men misbehave. On the contrary, it's the men who misbehave are the problem, not the women. So instead of saying women should not be loitering, he could have said nobody needs to be loitering, because after all, why should corridors of work be placed for loitering? But why single out women? So I think it is a reflection of his own inherited or acquired mindset of that individual. I won't blame all. I would like to identify the writer whose mind is reflected in this. It's his thinking.
Ma'am, do you think this circular should be immediately withdrawn and a fresh one issued also? Or do you think that an apology is also needed in a situation like this?
I think it's absolutely called for by the next senior. The next senior of this person who has to regret this, he needs to be sent for gender sensitization, because he's obviously got this mindset. Where he got it from, whether he inherited it from his home or whether he acquired it environmentally, but it has to be overruled and this man made to regret. I think that's the minimum the Karnataka government can do.
All right, Kiran Bedi, many thanks for speaking with us on that issue. Pratibha is still with us, getting us the latest updates from Bengaluru over this sexist circular that has been issued, singling out the women. All right, editor South TS Sudhir is also joining us with more details. Sudhir, Kiran Bedi, we just spoke to a former IPS officer, says that that an apology is called for in a situation like this. Is the other officials in the Secretariat now looking at this matter seriously?
Well, they are, because they are quite appalled at the kind of order and the kind of language that has been used, singling out the women employees at the Secretariat inside the Vidhan Soudha complex, that they are the ones who are found loitering around, clearly making a distinction between the male and the female employees working at the Secretariat. So obviously they are quite taken aback at the tone and tenor of that particular order. So it would be in the fitness of things that the Secretariat and the Karnataka government actually looks at probably redrafting that order. Is it really meant to inculcate a sense of responsibility and discipline in the government employees without actually pointing out who is found loitering inside the Secretariat complex and who is not? So obviously this has really not gone down well with the Karnataka government employees working in the Vidhan Soudha complex.
Absolutely. Many thanks, Sudhir, for joining us with those details. Also, thanks to Pratibha for getting us the latest updates.